Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Joanne Smedley, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Warrant Officer Class 1, Kim Owen. We warmly welcome the family of Warrant Officer Reginald John Peck, whose story will be told shortly. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in the singing of the National Anthem. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Warrant Officer Reginald John Peck. Reginald Peck was born on the 19th of February 1920 in the Sydney suburb of Manly, one of 5 children born to John and Phyllis Peck. Known as Reg to his family and friends, Peck grew up in Grenfell in the central west of New South Wales. He attended the intermediate high school in Grenfell, where he excelled at history and geography and played cricket and tennis. After school, he spent 5 years as an apprentice to his father and later worked as a carpenter. At the time of his enlistment, he lived at the Metropole Hotel in Katoomba in the Blue Mountains west of Sydney. From December 1940, Peck served in the local militia unit, and in November 1941, he joined the Royal Australian Air Force. His younger brother Harold also served in the Air Force, being awarded a Distinguished Flying Cross in 1945 while attached to No. 622 Squadron of the Royal Air Force. Reginald Peck trained at bases at Branfield Park and Temora in New South Wales, and in August 1942 sailed from Sydney for Canada, where he continued his training as part of the Empire Air Training Scheme. The Empire Air Training Scheme was a program in which airmen from across the British Empire were brought together for training and then sent to units that required their services. In October 1943, Peck sailed from Canada for the United Kingdom, where he eventually joined No. 86 Squadron of the Royal Air Force. No. 86 Squadron was a coastal command squadron which flew anti-U-boat patrols over the North Atlantic Ocean. With this unit, Peck operated from bases at Ballycully in Northern Ireland, Reykjavik in Iceland and Tain in Scotland. Peck received several promotions throughout his training and service, and on the 17th of November 1944, he attained the rank of Warrant Officer. A day after receiving this promotion, on the 18th of November 1944, Peck served as a wireless operator and air gunner on a nighttime, non-operational flight aboard Liberator aircraft BZ-943. The flight was a training flight in which the crew were to practice operating a ley light, a powerful searchlight attached to the aircraft used for spotting German U-boats at night. The aircraft took off from the base at Tain and headed in a westerly direction. Shortly before midnight, it crashed into the ocean about 18 kilometres northeast off the coast of Banff, Scotland. All 10 of the crew, 6 Australians, 3 British and 1 New Zealand airman were killed. The exact cause of the crash is unknown, and despite extensive searches by aircraft and rescue boat, the body of only one of the crew, Pilot Officer John Humphreys, RAF, was ever found. The commanding officer of the No. 86 Squadron later wrote to Peck's family that this crew was one of the very best and happiest in the unit, and we here are going to feel their loss very keenly. Peck was 24 years old. His name is listed on the Runnymede Memorial in Surrey, England, which records the names of over 20,000 Allied airmen of the Second World War who have no known grave. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, amongst almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. A photograph of Reginald Peck and his brother Harold is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. Reginald is on the left-hand side of this portrait, while Harold is on the right. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Warrant Officer Reginald John Peck, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening.